I just finished episode 10 of Ultraman Omega, which was a little similar to episode 7 of Ultraman Omega, which was a little similar to episode 4 of Ultraman Omega, and I'm a little confused. I'll just speak about the show as a show, or from the source material. This reporter lady comes and she's interviewing Kosei and Omega and Sorato, because Sorato knows all this stuff about the kaiju. Kaiju are new. She wants to know how. She has a whole thing about a documentary, and she wants to warn people of the dangers of kaiju, because if people don't know, if people aren't getting hit by kaiju over here, they're going to ignore the fact that people are being affected by kaiju over there, and they kind of want to ignore it, or they can't ignore it. They have the luxury of ignoring it. You could say that they did not see it because they did not wish to see it. And that's an interesting concept. But what ends up happening is that because she's trying to interview them, and Sorato is so casual, so lax, he basically wants to tell her pretty much right away that he is Omega, and Sorato is scared for him. Also, Sorato is concerned. Kosei is scared for him, and Kosei wants him to pause and say, "Wait a minute, shouldn't we tell Ayu before we tell Mak, this new lady?" And I don't really know why that's a concern. Maybe because it's a betrayal of trust, and revealing the betrayal of trust sooner than later is going to be better for the relationship, because then they can reasonably say, "Hey, we did tell you before we told somebody else. Even though we kept it from you, at least we let you know. We were deceiving you longer, and then we let you know longer that we were deceiving you. And you should feel good about that," which I'm saying it with a not a very nice tone, and kind of like I think they're being big jerks. I'm not judging on that at all. I just think it's kind of curious. I think it's kind of interesting. And I don't really know why that's an aspect in the calculation of telling this lady or not. And I understand that Kosei is concerned that if the authorities find out who Omega is, that it's Sorato, that they'll come after him, that they don't know who he is. They don't know if he's a friend or a foe, even though he's consistently been a friend. But still, somebody might want to harm him, and then what? He would have to either run away or kill them all or whatever to defend himself. I guess maybe because he can only be Ultraman for a few minutes at a time, he might fight them off and then become weakened and then be in big bad trouble. But then again, the way he flies off at the end of a fight, you think he could just fly to another country or something. It's an island. He could fly off of the island, right? Anyway, or he could fly to Miyagi's home. It's Okinawa. I now remember. Japan here. Okinawa here. Okinawa, my home. Is that while the concept is nice, the B plot, I guess, with Kosei and Sorato fighting, it just happened a couple episodes ago. And it just happened a couple episodes before that. This was funnier, and it made more sense in context than the first time it happened, which was episode 4. And yet, it's strange because episode 4 debuts the use of the Reckoness armor, and the Reckoness armor gets a big use again after a couple episodes of the Trigoron armor getting focused. So when they wanted to go back to selling the other toy, they decided to do that by rehashing the same episode essentially from before in order to bring out the same armor as before. This makes no sense. I don't know who's making these decisions. I don't know why they're making these decisions. And again, I don't know who at Tsuburaya Productions is responsible for people being so cavalier with their, prestigious, Ultraman is the core thing of Tsuburaya Productions. There are other things that they do, but this is the core thing, and they're just being so careless with it, and I don't understand why. But really, my main point is that I don't understand why they would rehash this episode, this concept, this conflict between Kosei and Sorato again for the third time in less than 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, fine. It's been 7 episodes. Over the course of 7 episodes, they've had the same conflict 3 times. That is not good. And it's not they were fighting a kaiju, or they were fighting a tough kaiju and it was a 3-parter, or it was Green with Evil and it was 4 episodes worth of stuff. It's the same thing popped up in different contexts and different scenarios 3 times within the space of 7 episodes, and 7, that's the caps, the end caps of it. I hope they don't fight again and have to question their friendship and reaffirm their friendship again. It didn't make any sense the first time. It was just weird. It came out of nowhere the second time they did it, which was in the Caught a Cold episode. Of course you would help me, Kosei. That's what friends do. You don't need to say thank you, or I don't need to say thank you, whatever. Somebody doesn't need to say thank you because we're friends, which actually doesn't make sense. That's not good. That's bad bad manners there from Omega. And if you're talking about reciprocity and the obligation, how you should help somebody because you're close to them, I agree, but you should still say thank you. And the next thing, just like you should say thank you to waiters and waitresses. It doesn't, just because it's their job, you can still thank them and be polite and kind. Anyway. But it's just, I don't understand why things are being handled so carelessly, why we're revisiting this conflict, why it matters that they're friends. I didn't think their friendship was in trouble. They at the beginning in this interview they were having with this lady doing the documentary, Sorato talks about how Kosei is his best friend, and she said, "But you're cousins. Why are you friends too? Or why is she your best friend?" And as if that's supposed to be some sort of conflict. And then of course they have their fight, which was more enjoyable, made more sense this time. But by the end, there's another reaffirmation of their friendship, and I just don't understand. In fact, it brings to mind something from Kamen Rider Forze. Ryusei says something about a friendship that needs so much affirmation is not a real friendship at all, and I think that's interesting. I think there's something going on wrong in the writing room for Omega, where they're not putting the proper focus on things, and therefore they're writing from a place of fear, and they are afraid that it's not making enough money. They're afraid that it's not getting the point across, that it's not selling to the kids well enough. So they're doing these things to try to sell it, and they're just not doing a good job of it. It's really bad, and that's too bad. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this episode anymore. Let me know what you thought about it. Leave a comment below, and we can discuss this further if you'd like to. And drop the pinned comment for the rest of my Omega, or check out the pinned comment for the rest of my Omega analysis. And there might be some bonus content there too that you can enjoy. If I can muster up the strength to make something for this episode, I might try. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, for now, this is MJ signing out with Henshin Inspection and Going Ultra. Take care, folks.